Hello everyone, I'm Yash, a rising high school junior, and my project, Spiritual Valley, is about exploring the diversity of religious centers across the Bay Area and showing the human stories behind them. Today, we'll be learning about the Baha'i Faith, a religion founded in 19th century Persia that emphasizes unity, justice, and the betterment of humanity. I had the opportunity to visit the San Jose Baha'i Center and speak with several members of the community, and also attend a feast celebration where I was moved by the warmth and generosity of everybody I met. Through these conversations that I had there, I was fascinated by the personal stories of faith and the deep sense of community that came through. So I hope you do find these insights as meaningful and inspiring as I did.
My journey started when I was 40. My best friend's daughter became a Baha'i, and my friend wanted me to go and check it out to see what this religion was and to make sure that her daughter had made the right choice. So we started attending what we call firesides, gatherings in people's homes, having spiritual conversation about things. We were hooked right from the beginning. It took my friend 6 months to become a Baha'i and me 1 year. And it took me a little bit longer out of respect for my mother because I was raised Catholic and very much a traditional Catholic. But I had been searching for years and trying to understand the connection between God and Jesus. And I just wasn't getting the answers in the church. But as soon as I became a Baha'i, I loved Jesus even more than ever and understood his station. So I have been very active from that point on in the faith, trying to teach others and serving children's classes, study circles with adults, and home visits, trying to share the word of Baha'u'llah.
I my journey with the faith started actually when I was 9, but I didn't realize it until I was 19. I overheard a friend tell another friend at college that the way he put it was Christ has returned and his new name is Baha'u'llah. In his response to a book of Revelation prophecy. And I became absolutely furious. I thought that was just the most horrific thing I had ever heard. I was outraged and angry. And if I'd had a Bible, I would have smacked him with it. But it started me on deciding that I had to either prove or disprove this. I had to understand it for myself. And so I dove into the school library and then every library I could get. And I found every book about the faith I could find and I read it. And then a friend gave me a prayer book and then they gave me a little book called The Hidden Words. And when I was 19 years old, I suddenly realized that I heard the voice of Christ from the writings of Baha'u'llah. And the local spiritual assembly, which is a guiding body of a Baha'i community that I went to, said, if you feel it will cause disunity in your family, you may wish to put this off until you feel like these things, because unity is of paramount importance to Baha'is. But I went ahead and I did it and I became a Baha'i. And so I've been a Baha'i a very long time. And my mother became a Baha'i about 6 months after I did. That was impressive even to me.
I was born in a Baha'i family, and I went through all the Baha'i studying for youngsters through the years that I stayed in Iran. Then I left Iran to come to United States for going to school. It got to the point that I had to stay after my education here and participated mostly in activities and other affairs that you know I had to I like to do with faith, and still I'm here and still I'm serving the faith.
I'm part of a team that goes out and tries to encourage the Baha'i friends to engage in their community, in their local court or whatever their street, and teach the children. We have an educational process in which we teach the younger children virtues, the junior youth, which is ages 11 to 14. We start with the mathematics and community service and getting them to support each other in service for their community and helping them spiritually grow. And then for adults, we have the Ruhi Institute, where you're learning about the power of prayer, service, You learn a little bit about the history of the faith. There's books on marriage. There's books on being a protagonist and being part of the greater society and helping change our society to be more unified. So I'm part of that team trying to encourage the friends to do that. And it's amazing. It's amazing to watch small children that are struggling in their life and watching their community change, neighborhoods change and become more unified, and neighborhoods all of a sudden are cleaner and the schools get better, and all because of the power of the prayer and the education of the children and the parents. So that's part of my role here.
Our job is basically to just make sure that, people have the support that they need. We're also there if people have, personal problems that they need help with, to hook them up with, the right kind of advisors or whatever help they need. We're, Baha'u'llah tells us we're guardians for all that dwell on earth, which is rather kind of daunting.
We are encouraged to do a lot of services, to do with the matters that our society is getting so really ignorant about problems that we have. So Baha'u'llah always asks us to be aware of your surroundings, know people's problem and know your society problem, and try to do as much as you can. So we Baha'is trying to do as much as possible with the collaboration with non-Baha'is. We love to work with the other people because we cannot do it on our own.
We do have a few youth that are dedicated to reaching out to the youth in the greater community. Like we have people that are in college, so they try to start a college club, or just have a devotional in their home or their apartment and invite friends that they've met at school in. And then that's how the deeper conversations start. It's just befriending. We got to be friends first, right? And then have the deeper conversation about spiritual things, and not necessarily trying to convert people to become Baha'is, but to become collaborators in making a better world for everybody. So that's how they start. They go out and make friends, then start having gatherings in their home. And then from time to time, we have youth conferences where they go up to the mountains. There's a high school in the Santa Cruz Mountains. So they go up there for a weekend of study and gathering and just becoming a solid group. And then they take those efforts and they do things like a year of service in another community where they're helping create children's classes in the neighborhoods. So it's all based around service and educating them how important it is to serve your community, because that's what's going to change the world.
I know from my own experience with my kids, my youngest daughter, who's 22, is doing a year of service in San Diego. She is basically plugged in, like she gets 1 day a week off, and she's doing children's classes, and she's doing Ruhi study circles with adults, and she's doing whatever needs to be done. And the reason she wanted to do this, and I think it's important to connect the young Baha'is with their outer world, is to understand that this is how you affect the future. This is how we, from a Christian perspective, build the kingdom of God on earth. This is what has to happen, is that because these kids of this age, it's really easy to be depressed about the state of the world and the state of this country. And I think that the key that I saw with my kids was empowering them to feel like, no, I don't have to sit here and be miserable about this or be angry or go out online and argue with people. I have something I can do.
So right now, what we encourage people to do is to teach in their neighborhoods, not in the center. This is mostly used for large gatherings or a holy day or a feast, but we're encouraged to teach outside. I rent a room, so I don't really have a space to teach outside. So I love this place, and I love hosting a devotional out there. I love teaching children's classes here, holding youth gatherings. And I hope that we have more and more of those in larger groups.
Wow. Yeah, I see the center. I'd like to see the center become, it's starting to grow. We've got other community groups using the center for things. It's a polling place during election season. And I'd like to see it become more and more a hub of the community right around it.
We trying to get more into communities around whoever has a house around. I mean, we're trying to talk to neighbors and basically talking to people, know about their problems, see if we can help them with anything. And center for us, once upon a time, everything was happening in center, everything. But now we're trying to go to neighborhood. You have heard something about our Ruhi classes. Our Ruhi class is a series of classes that we have that actually teaches the word of God like was existed in their own belief. It just refreshing things for people. It basically opens up environment for people that always told they need to do something to open up and talk about their needs, their difficulties, why they didn't understand something, and get into discussion. And they basically feel that they're free to discuss things and share and consult. So basically, those things for adults. And in this center is more area and thing that we can get together and do those classes. And basically, it's for kind of public activities used, but majority of activities it should happen in the communities.
I was raised Baha'i, but when I turned 15, Baha'i is considered that you're spiritually responsible for yourself. And so I feel like I really chose it for myself as well. It really aligned with things outside of the Baha'i faith that I believed were true. It all fit together really nicely, so it made sense for me.
I'm born in the one family in my country, in Iran. My dad was Muslim, my mom was Baha'i. Both of them, was very nice. They never forced me to choose my religion. They taught me a lot. They give me time to choose which I want to be. The first time I want to follow my dad, I was a Muslim, but my mom really supported me for everything, really. After 10 years, I changed my mind because I was deep talking about my mom's religion. I study a lot. After that, I think I want to be Baha'i. I changed my religion. After that, I got a lot of problems from my religion. I had to leave my country. From the time I came to the USA, I came to the San Jose. I waste my time to serve the people. But the Baha'i Center had a lot of activity. We are not looking for the people to be a Baha'i. We love everybody.
Third, on my mom's side, I'm the third generation Baha'i. On my dad's side, maybe fourth generation Baha'i. So, but in the Baha'i faith, even if you're born, you're asked to do independent investigation, and at the age of 15, we choose to continue practice as a Baha'i or investigate all other religions and do whatever that makes sense.
I also was born into a Baha'i family, and my mom was actually the first one that discovered the Baha'i faith when she was in university. Through her, she became a Baha'i, and then of course my father did. And then so we were raised Baha'i, my sister and I. And we were encouraged to investigate all religions and understand the teachings of all the religions, because the base of the Baha'i faith is understanding and knowing all the religions and believing in the teachings of each of those prophets that brought those religions. So, and to me, that's what made sense when I became 15. That's what made sense to me, is I want to be in a part of a religion that believes in all the teachings.
So I grew up with going to like children's classes and junior youth groups, which is like for ages 12 to 15. And in each of these, I learned about like the history of the faith and the principles, and did things like service projects and artworks.
In a way, when you choose Baha'i faith, you're choosing all of them, because we believe in progressive revelations. We believe in from Zoroaster, Buddha, Moses, Jesus, Muhammad, and the Baha'i faith believes in all of these religions and believes that this is just the next religion sent by God.
I'm born Baha'i. I'm born in Iran, and Baha'i, my parents and my grandparents. And then I moved here 8 years ago, due to the persecution of the Baha'i Faith in Iran. I wasn't allowed to go to university to study because of my faith. I would have lied. I had to lie. And in Baha'i Faith, we don't do that. We don't hide anything, and we don't lie because something is in our benefit. So for that matter, so unfortunately I couldn't go to the university, but then later on I worked and then I got married. So anyhow, with my husband, we decided to move to the US. In this Baha'i center, we do have Sunday school, which we teach our kids, the virtues and then the Baha'i code. When we arrived here in '98, so they just bought this Baha'i center. So apparently before that, they were gathered in some community center for the feast. Every 19 days we have feast. They gathered in the community center, or they were gathered in a park. And so, but I guess luckily us, when we came here, they just bought this center, and of course it's been very evolved, and they did a lot of remodeling and everything. It changed a lot. So my husband's also it's been a couple years that he's an assembly member also. But that's how we kind of raised. And again, luckily we live so close by. So we live in 10 minutes away from Baha'i Center. So we were able every Sunday morning bring the kids. I brought my daughter since she was like literally 2 years old, my oldest. And then as we go.
Visiting the San Jose Baha'i Center left a lasting impression on me. I was struck by how the Baha'i Faith empowers 15-year-olds to choose their own spiritual path through independent investigation of religion. Their deep commitment to community service, youth empowerment, and also interfaith collaboration really stood out to me. This visit reminded me how faith can inspire real